On Sunday the 16th of July, we will come to celebrate the 15th Sunday in Ordinary Time. And Jesus has some astonishing words. He's asked by the disciples, "Why do you always speak to these people in parables?" Astonishing, because seeing they do not see, and hearing they do not hear, nor do they understand. Indeed, in their case, the prophecy of Isaiah is fulfilled that says, "You will indeed hear, but never understand. You will indeed see, but never perceive. For this people's heart has grown dull, and with their ears they can barely hear, and with their eyes they have them closed, lest they should see with their eyes and hear with their ears, and understand with their heart, and turn, and I would heal them." Describing humanity and our existence as a clot of blood, deaf, blind, and unknowing, may appear rather depressing, although sometimes it seems to me that we could be more aptly described as a little bubble of illusion. And perhaps there really is a hole in the bucket when I argue that I think, therefore I am. I think most of us consider ourselves being in control of our thought processes, and that our minds are in fact the most private and intimate domains and the center of who we are, our separate and totally individual character. However, when I pay closer attention, I become conscious of my awareness. I know that I'm aware. I am an observer of the thoughts that I associate with my being, thoughts coming and going. But I'm not my thoughts. I am the observer of my thoughts. So events and thoughts come and go into my awareness, and I classify and store what is necessary. This isn't that, isn't something else. This isn't useful to me. These memories of moments of now are stored in different places. A bit over here, a bit over there, this classified as emotion, the other classified as a warning, and a bit somewhere else classified as being good to eat. That is why our memories, unlike computers, are so unreliable and open to manipulation. We look for evidence that will validate our paradigm, our way of seeing the world, and miss what is, becoming captured in our own little bubble of illusion. From this I also listen without hearing, in order to impose my particular commentary on your perceived reality. Isn't it true so often we see in someone's eyes, they're just waiting for the opportunity to reply. They stop listening after our first few words. In a recent BBC program, Being Human, we are showed how the introduction of a stranger into a class reunion becomes an accepted and shared memory as soon as one of the class recalls the presence of this person in their class. As soon as there are 2 or 3 in the class who become committed to this belief, the rest of the group fall into step, and the illusion becomes their accepted reality. They make up stories about this stranger they've never met before. See, we also make the same kind of commitment to our perceived memories. And that's why it's so difficult to move beyond that groupthink that seeks to stifle and to subjugate those who would expose these illusions. In February 2015, I attended a workshop in Wellington, a beautiful little town in the Cape. This workshop was run by Anna Breitenbach, who's a rather famous and professional animal communicator. This form of communication with creation takes the form of projecting the images, the mental images, rather than using words, but must always begin by standing in a place of humility, without any intention whatsoever of manipulation. Any aim which is formed by my personal motives for my achievement will block any communication. For we stand on holy ground purely as listeners, as observers. And although it is possible to project mental images of certain outcomes based on certain actions, the most common form of communication only requires an open presence to the other. Through this we are allowed into the experience of the other. Interpretation and judgment of this experience must be put aside. Any time that we judge, we are blocked from the raw experience of the moment that connects me to the other in the now in which we know God acts. Acquiring this skill assists not only in prayer and meditation, but also in the practice of relating to others. Truly aware of the other, listening, hearing, seeing. Always when I have chosen an interpretation, I become committed to my particular understanding of reality that predicts certain outcomes, and this in turn blocks my awareness, blocks my hearing, and blocks my vision. So I am deaf, blind, and ununderstanding. I am reminded of my time living with two Franciscan, holy Irish brothers, who were in community at the Formation House in Pretoria. Often the two would be talking over each other, one to the other, but on totally different and unrelated topics, each one intent but oblivious to the other. Even when we find ourselves attending to the present, we may discover that what our minds churn out is fairly worthless. Most of us are constantly making instantaneous judgments about what we experience. This is, and this isn't, over and over again, judging and classifying. As we allow these trains of thought to continue, we find them leading to other thoughts and judgments that have no real value and no real substance. No, we are ordinarily not in control of our minds, despite what we may think. Yes, we can turn them off, but we can't always make them do what we want. Judgments, thoughts, and emotions seem to arise unbidden and often unwelcome. The practice of mindfulness is the skill of opening ourselves to the reality without any judgment, and it is important that we approach the practice of meditation in the same spirit, relinquishing our preconceptions and our expectations. It's also essential to provide a spiritual and physical context which is conducive to our meditation. Mindlessness comes at a very high cost. Living with a mind that we don't know very well, a mind that's often out of control, a mind that's semi-conscious most of the time, a mind that causes us and others to suffer greatly, probably more than we even realize. For it said, whatever an enemy might do to another enemy, or one foe to another foe, the ill-directed mind can do to you even worse. Is it any wonder we so frequently attempt to silence or to alter our minds with drugs, with amusements, with sex, or with other forms of distraction? I think it's fortunate most of us don't reach that mind-driven point of despair, but we nonetheless endure the consequences of immensely powerful but unruly mind. We find ourselves entertaining thoughts that serve no wholesome value in our lives. We make such snap judgments about individuals based on the slimmest, the flimsiest, and the most trivial of evidence. we spin out our falsehoods that we ourselves come to believe. We're constantly comparing ourselves to others, a practice that must inevitably lead to pain. All of this and more drives us to lead frenzied lives, often on the verge of total misery. Mindlessness is the power of heightened awareness and sensitivity to ourselves and our world. The sense of dissatisfaction, of which we are more or less conscious at different times in our lives, impels us to find something, anything, to bring us some relief. Unfortunately, our minds have been conditioned to seek solutions to its torment in the most unhelpful of ways. The beliefs that compel us to keep looking somewhere else for something to bring us relief are so common that we rarely consider that it might be time to try something different, perhaps a new approach. Rather than seek happiness through the usual ineffective and often counterproductive means, mindfulness offers us a different way. It is possible to cultivate a wholesome mind that will produce thoughts that will contribute to our well-being and to the well-being of our families, our friends, our communities, and to the world. We can shape our mental functions in a way that will remove the frantic, driven, distracted, semi-conscious qualities of our lives. But it is not an easy journey. Look, be still. Seeing discarded, suddenly I am the light. Listen, be quiet. Incline the ear of your heart. Hearing abandoned, now I am the tune. Time is all in this now. All the thens, only an illusion, the smoke of my imaginings. Letting my knowing dissolve in the streams of memory, taste and see that the Lord is good. May the Lord grant you his peace.